Is this plumping? Mm-hmm. Ooh. Mmm. Ooh. 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 I don't do well with plumping glosses. Welcome back, everyone. Today's video is going to be a try to get ready with me. I'm going to be using some of the products that I picked up in my latest Sephora hauls. So I've already done my haul. I've done a get ready with me with my first haul. I do have a couple other Sephora videos. I will link them all in the description box if you are still shopping during the sale. But let me get you zoomed in and we will get started. Okay, welcome. So we are just going to jump right into it. I don't have, it sounds so crazy to say I don't have like a new foundation product, but I didn't purchase one in the sale, but I have had a couple recently to me, the Makeup Forever Super Boost, which I believe I used in my last one. And then in my Shop My Stash bag, I do have the Milk Hydro Grip Skin Tint. I have it in the shade 5. I have used this before in a Get Ready With Me, but because I just got these in, I didn't really feel the need to pick up another foundation from the sale. I did get a new concealer, the one from Kulfi, so that is what I'll be trying today. But I've been liking all of the skin tints and I've been going back and forth. I said in one video that I felt like the Milani was my favorite. Now I almost feel like it's the ColourPop that's my favorite, and both of those are the more affordable options, but I still really like the ones from Milk Makeup and also Makeup Forever. I think these are both really nice. The Milk Makeup I don't think is the most like long wearing of the four, but I do think it's the most like glowy for the skin. So I have a little bit more combo skin, like leaning more dry, I would say. And I think that this one does give a nice glow and a light to medium coverage for the skin. And then I do want to try, that was my perfume. I do want to try the Kulfi Concealer. So I picked this up in my last Sephora haul. Like I said, I've done two. I shopped before the sale, and then I shopped when I actually got my 15% off as a rouge. This one is the, let me see, the Main Match Concealer, and I got the shade Cocoa Crush. I felt like when I swatched it, it looked like it would work for my under eyes and for spot concealing, but we will see. Maybe it might be a little dark for the under eyes, but let me see. Sometimes I was actually thinking about it in store because I swatched a few different concealers and I kept going back to being like, oh, I need my concealer to be so much lighter for my under eyes. And I'm like, why do I think that way? Because to me, it's easier if I have a concealer that works for both under eyes and for the rest of my face. And then I can use my powder if I want to brighten. Like in my Shop My Stash bag now is the powder from Ofra Cosmetics. It's their Lavender Days. And I do feel like a lavender, peachy color, salmon, pink, what have you, the Ube from Huda Beauty, which is also right in front of me, like these are all brightening. So I'm like, why do I keep going back to like concealer has to be so much lighter for my under eyes? I definitely went through a time in like, I don't even know, 2017, 18 maybe, where I was like the white, like the whitest my under eyes could be, the better. Like the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder was my favorite before I even really enjoyed just her regular translucent powder. To me, it was the brightening, and I have definitely gotten away from that. But still, I have that mindset. I don't know if anyone else does that. I've talked before about how sometimes I get kind of like stuck in my ways, and I'm like, I need to move on from finding a concealer like 4 shades lighter, especially for me, because I like to wear concealer as foundation. Again, I'm a little bit more acne prone as well, so I like concealers that can be spot concealing at the same time. So I'm like, why do I feel like I need a concealer that's so much lighter when I can have my powder do that for me? But this was my first time trying the Kulfi Concealer. My first thoughts are, I feel like I didn't use a lot of product, first of all, and that blended out really nicely. I feel like that looks pretty good. Again, I don't think that it's the most brightening shade for my under eyes, but I do think it made them look smoother, I will say. I mean, I'll be curious to see how, concealer is one of those, I don't know if I have deep passionate feelings the first time that I use it, but I am pretty particular about my concealers because I go back to my favorites all the time. Tower 28, Natasha Denona, those are my 2 top favorites that I always go back to. So I'm curious to see if the Kulfi will like be up there with them or not at all. I definitely want to see the wear time of this. I'm not going to be able to give it the longest wear time today, but I am going on a trip. When's this video going up? I might be on a trip when this video is going up, and I have like beach days and boat days and all of those things. So I will be bringing the Kulfi Concealer. I will say I don't think that it covered, what like my acne spots all that well. Like, I do feel like the Natasha and the Tower 28 cover a little bit better, but let me add a little bit more product and see what we think. I wouldn't say it looks like super full coverage for my under eyes, but it feels very lightweight. Like, it doesn't feel like I just put a lot of makeup on my under eyes. I think it looks pretty good, pretty good. I don't know if it'll be a favorite. I definitely need to give it a lot more chances than just one. So we will see how the Kulfi Concealer works out for me. I don't have a new brow product, so I'm just gonna do my brows really quickly off camera with the Benefit Precisely My Brow. I've been snapping my fingers the last few times, so let's try something different. There we go, brows are done. We love it. Also, if you haven't noticed, my allergies are bad today, so I feel like my voice is sounding pretty spectacular, but is what it is. It feels like everyone in Vegas today woke up and just got slapped in the face with allergies. Like, watching everyone's like stories and like my text messages, everyone's just like, what? What just happened? So I am gonna use the Huda Ube powder, like I said, for my under eyes. And then I'm gonna use the pound cake for my face. This is a combo that I have been enjoying recently. I don't have much to talk about in today's video. It was just really gonna be kind of like focused on a get ready with me. But one thing that's kind of popped into my mind, one thing that I've been pondering recently. So I've done a couple videos on my channel about things that I feel social media has normalized. And in one of my videos, I pointed out that I wanted to be clear in saying this is what I think social media has normalized, and not necessarily saying this is what I think influencers have normalized, because I have seen a lot of videos on this subject, and to me it feels like a lot of those videos are very negative on the part of a social media influencer. Like, how dare they make this normal? There's a lot of like finger pointing, shaming, all of those things. And while there's always going to be bad eggs in every industry, I say that all of the time, I just don't necessarily agree with the take of like social media influencers are the problem for like literally everything in the world. And sometimes that's how it feels when I go online and I'm like, do we have no, again, I talk about this at length in my videos, but like we've seemed to have lost, and I point the finger at myself here as well sometimes because I fall into this as well, but we've seemed to lost like accountability. Like, we're just always like, oh, I saw this, so I bought this, so I blame that person. I saw this, so I tried this, and it didn't work out for me, so I blame this person. Like, we do a lot of that these days, and it's just, again, it's a take that I just don't necessarily agree with. So when I was making my videos, and I did a couple here on my main channel, and I also did one on my second channel, and that channel is where I do videos either on books or healthy habits, and I kind of flip back and forth between the two. And I try to keep this one more beauty. Again, I was trying to be clear in my video of like, this is what I think like social media and also just the technology that we have at our hands these days, the amount of information that we can consume these days. This is what I feel like has made normal, not just necessarily content creators. And again, also not trying to be negative in the point of content creators. Sure, do I think some people, you know, take things a little bit far? Sure, of course. But in the grand scheme of things, I didn't want to be super negative because also, one, I am a content creator, and two, a lot of my peers are my friends. And I never want to make videos where I feel like I'm shaming my own friends, because that would be very weird to me. And that's just like not who I am either. So that was one thing that I thought about when I went into making those videos, and it's why I was trying to make my wording like clear. And one thing that I was trying to say, I think I kind of specifically touched on this on the video that I did on my second channel of what BookTube has made normal, you know, reading 20 books in a month and going on these huge book hauls, very similar to makeup. Like, I made a lot of makeup comparisons in that video. And again, saying me too, like, I've done this too, I do this too, like, everyone's in a book club, guess who has a book club? Me too. Like, again, it's not like I'm like pointing at other people and saying you do this, you do that. I'm saying I do the same thing, because at the end of the day, and the message that I was trying to get across was, sure, there are things that I think the internet and social media can almost feel like it's normalizing, but at the end of the day, it's not, because at the same time, I don't think being a social media influencer or content creator is normal. And this is something, it's really just a topic that's kind of popped into my head recently, and to be honest, I don't really have my full thoughts fleshed out. If you would want a video on it, let me know, but I also don't know if I want to make a full video on it, because I worry it'll come across as like kind of complaining about being a content creator, and that's not how I want it to sound. But I thought I would just touch on a couple of things here of like expanding my thoughts on that. So when I'm saying in videos, like it feels like social media has made this normal, I'm not trying to say like this should be normalized, this should be your goal. But because of the amount of content that we can now consume on a daily, hourly, minute, second basis these days, when you get inundated with so many videos like that, it can start to make your brain think like, oh, this is normal, this is how other people live, and that's just not true. So again, I don't know if I'm articulating myself the best here, but it's like, even if you see a morning routine from someone every single day, and like with morning routine specifically, like sometimes I see comments of like, this isn't their real morning routine because how are they filming it? Well, like, of course not. Of course someone doesn't have a camera running on them 24/7 in the middle of the night so they can catch what they actually look like when they wake up. Like when we do morning routine videos to show you what our morning routine looks like, we do have to wake up first. We do have to wake up and like turn the camera on and get ready to do that. So sometimes when I see, I'm like, huh? I did the video on Aston Hall recently, and like his morning routine's going so mega viral, and people are like, oh, but he spends so much time like moving his cameras and doing all these different clips. Like, yes, of course, because that's creating content, and that's being a good video editor and all of those different things. He's giving you a gist of what his mornings look like. Even for me, sometimes when I film my morning routine videos, my mornings might not look like that every single morning. I might skip a step here, might skip 2 steps there, might sleep in one day, but on a general gist, I'm making this video so you can see what the majority of my morning routines look like. And I'm not trying to say this is what your morning routine needs to look like. You need to follow every single step. And oh, by the way, I do this exact routine at the exact same time exactly every single day. So those are just like a couple of thoughts that have popped into my mind when I think about this. And when I was, kind of considering it a little bit more, I kind of kept going back to the fact of, again, in my mind, being a content creator is not normal. I feel like it's becoming more normalized as it's become a more popular, full-fledged career these days. As someone who started in the 2009 era, when being a blogger was incredibly weird and an outlier, nowadays, it is very common for people to go into the content creation space, and it's also very common for social media to be a job. It is now a major that is offered in college. Social media marketing, and then there's a plethora of careers that fall under the umbrella of social media, which is amazing. It's opened up so many jobs, it's opened up so many careers, it's opened up so many small businesses, it's opened up so many ways for people to do what they love and create what they want to every single day. And that's really exciting. So I do think that it's becoming more normalized, but on the whole, I still don't think something, especially like being a content creator and sharing your life online the way that a lot of us do who are YouTubers and TikTokers and all of that, to me, that's not normal. And I would love to get your thoughts on that. And if you are a content creator, like I would love to get your thoughts on that. For me, I just don't think that's a normal thing yet. Sometimes when I watch videos from other people and they're telling the internet really private, vulnerable moments, I'm like, that's not normal. I have my friend group, right? Let's all say it together. I have Katie and Ashley. Like, I have my friend group who I go to with those really like vulnerable and like deep thoughts. I don't necessarily share those with the internet, and I share a lot with the internet, don't get me wrong. I am an oversharer. I have really struggled with boundaries when it comes to my internet community, and then I sit down and do my makeup and I feel such a connection with my online community that I just start talking. And then sometimes I'm editing back my video and I'm like, oh my gosh, like you just like spilling all of your secrets in this video, like people are gonna think you're crazy, right? But I see people do that online, and some of my thoughts are, one, how brave of them. How brave to be that vulnerable that you can share that, because them sharing that is probably helping someone. I know a lot of people's videos have helped me so much, have helped me through divorce, have helped me through mental health, have helped me through financial struggles, have helped me through something like an infertility journey. Those videos are all super helpful because someone was brave enough to click play and share a very vulnerable side to them. But another part of my brain is like, that's not normal. That's not normal to know so much information about so many people that we will never meet. And I don't know, the way that social media is moving and, you know, technology is moving, I think that it will become extremely normalized. I think it's already, honestly, I think that it's probably already there. I think maybe I'm like resisting to saying that it's normal, because like this part of my brain is still like, but that's not normal. And this part of my brain is like, but that's where it's going if it's not already there. So I'd love to get your thoughts. Like when you sit down and you watch someone online and you see them share, and of course not everyone does this. There's plenty of content creators, especially ones that I watch, that I have no idea anything about them personally. They either just talk about makeup, they just talk about fitness, they just talk about the food that they're eating. That's it. They don't share anything personal about them. There's some pages that I follow that I've never even seen that person's face. They're a faceless account. So there's plenty of people out there that do that. But I'm just wondering if like you come across someone sharing a really vulnerable story, do you ever stop and be like, that's different? We didn't have that kind of access to people even, you know, a decade ago. And where is it going in the future? How much more vulnerable and open as a society can we be? And how much more do we want people to keep opening up their lives to other people on the internet? These are some of the thoughts that I have been thinking recently. Welcome to my brain. Speaking of vulnerability. I'm gonna put a pause on the conversation real quick to keep going with the get ready with me, because I stopped so I could like gather my thoughts during all of that. But I did buy the Sephora collection bronzer. A lot of you recommended this to me, so I'm super excited to try it out. I got the shade 01. This is a matte powder bronzer. So let's see what we think of it. And again, I had been searching for a new bronzer. A lot of you also recommended the one from Milani, but then when I was talking about Sephora because of the sale that's going on, that's probably still going on while this video is going up, a lot of you are recommending Sephora collection, and the Sephora collection is 30% off during the sale. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get it. They still had them in store where I was shopping, so I was like, let's do it. My first thoughts is this is very blendable. It's just kind of like not melting into the skin. That's not the right word that I'm using, because it's, I mean, powders can melt into the skin too, but to me that kind of describes a cream more. But it's blending in super smoothly. Looking good. Shade looks good. And the shade 01 looks pretty good for me. Ooh, I did just get back from a pretty long walk, so I was a little bit sweaty as I sat down. That's why, can you take me seriously with this headband in? I couldn't find just my regular black headband, but I was like, well, I need to do something with my hair because I had a hat on. So it was looking kind of crazy, but it is nice in Vegas. Ooh, that's cute. I like it. I like it so far. Will I fall in love with it? I don't know. I'm not really a big love at first sight type of girl, but I'm excited to keep trying that, and thank you all for the recommendations. And then for the blush, I'm just gonna go back. I've been really liking these from at Tower 28. Last time I used Long Beach Iced Tea, which I really like that nude. And then for today, I'm gonna go back to Samoa Spritzer, because I think this one is very pretty. But again, these are just powder matte blushes from Tower 28. But I think they are quite gorgeous. So I have two in my Shop My Stash bag that I packed. Okay, cute. And then I'm gonna use the Huda Pound Cake, because typically I like to do my bronzer and blush and then I do my powder for my face. So that's the order we're doing that in. But one thing I was thinking about, especially with the Sephora sale that is happening, is going back to some of the commentary that I was seeing of like, these are things that influencers are normalizing, and also seeing a lot of talk of like influencers aren't relatable, and that being like a negative, like, oh, they're just not relatable anymore. Or it's a big thing that I see, especially when creators have success and they grow their following. And I've seen this in the beauty industry, I've seen it in food, I've seen it in fashion, lifestyle. But when they start to amass more followers, one of the first pieces of feedback that I typically see on the internet is, oh, they're not relatable anymore. And I'm coming at you as a perspective of a content creator, so there's that. But again, going back to, I don't think this is necessarily normal. And at the same time, while I think I'm a pretty relatable gal, like I really do, for the most part, I feel like I'm a fairly relatable person. I do think after my divorce and move, and some of the things that I get to do living now in a city of Las Vegas and being a creator, and my partner being a creator, and all of the things that we get to do now, probably not the most relatable, and I get that. But it's fun, and it's exciting, and I get to make videos and showcase different things that people can do when they come here, and restaurants they can go to. I just made a video on swingers, which is like mini golf and an arcade that Ashley and I got to do. So do I think that's the most relatable thing now? No. So when I see things of people being like, well, she's not relatable anymore, that's fair. But I also don't know why that's like such a negative, because I worked really hard to get here. I had to leave behind an entire life in order to start over and make a new one. And now I get that a lot of these things maybe aren't the most relatable, but I don't know a lot of people who would turn down opportunities that I have made happen for myself. You know what I'm saying? But I also think of it on the flip side of how much like pressure content creators are under. And I relate back to the Sephora sale, because I have done, again, not one, but 2 Sephora hauls. One before the sale even started. I'm not even a Rouge anymore, which is where you would get 20% off and shop the sale first. Because I've been on a low buy for the last 2 years, I'm VIB, which means I get 15% off and I shop like 4 or 5 days later. I went out and bought $150 worth of products so I could put a video out ahead of time to say, hey, I think these new releases are either good or not so good. And of course, I like, some people don't always understand my dry humor, which is fine. But I say sometimes in videos like, oh, I'm doing this for you. Like, I'm doing this for you guys. You know what I mean? And in a way, of course I am. That's a part of my job. Part of my job is to review products and to let you know what I think. Also a part of my job is to look at my analytics, is to look at what videos do well on the internet, what videos get views, what videos get engagement, what videos create conversions when it comes to my affiliate sales. And year after year, those are Sephora sale videos. So of course, I'm going to do Sephora sale videos. 1, because I enjoy doing them. 2, because you enjoy watching them. And 3, because as part of my job, it brings me in income, which is what I need to do in order to live. So I shopped once, spent $150, and started to get comments of like, you call that a haul? Wow, what a big haul. I'm like, okay. So then I go out, shop again, and spend, this time I had my discount. So with the discount, I spent another $80. So 150 plus 80, what is that? So I just spent over $200, $230 on makeup, all makeup that I don't need, right? Like the new releases that I bought, do I need a new concealer? No, I have my favorites. Do I need a new mascara? No, I have my favorites. Do I need a new bronzer? No. Like, even though I'm like, oh, I just really want a new bronzer, I have panned on my other bronzers, I can still use them. I can still use them all the way up. Do I need the 2 new lip liners from my last haul? No. I have plenty of lip liners. Nothing in these hauls that I have purchased, did I need a $42 eyeshadow pod that I paid full price for because I bought it before the sale? No. I didn't need any of this makeup, but I purchased it as part of my job. Then we go back to the question of, is that normal, right? So then I'm thinking, because I feel a little defeated sometimes, because I went through that time of buying a ton of makeup. I went through that time of spending $500, of putting, you know, $500 worth of items in my Sephora cart and then making videos of, I cleared my Sephora cart. I've done that. And I've talked in length about putting myself into debt, trying to make a successful YouTube channel related around beauty products. And that's why I decided to do my low buy, especially after my divorce and my move. 1, because I was downsizing. I was going from a 5-bedroom home to a 2-bedroom apartment. And 2, I'm now completely on my own. I don't have a safety net. You know, when I was married, my husband was my safety net, as there was a time where I was his safety net. Now there's no safety net. And so I had to really have like a come to Samantha moment after my move and after I was going through everything of this, probably like, hopefully what I'm doing continues to be successful, right? But there's always that chance that it's not going to. And you can't just F around anymore. You can't, like, maybe that sounds very strange to some people. And again, this is where it goes back to like being very vulnerable online of what you're talking about. But I feel, especially since my divorce, I don't get to make a mistake. I don't get to mess up, especially when I had my dog and she was going through cancer and I was paying thousands of dollars to just try to keep her alive for a few more months. That definitely gave me a big wake-up call. And I don't want to say that I was like irresponsible with my money before that, because I've had a lot of financial wake-up calls in life for sure. But I think it was just my reminder of like, okay, you need to make sure that you stay on this track. Like when I decided to do my low buy, when I decided to take away my Will I Buy It series that I did every single Wednesday, that was it might seem silly, that was a huge decision for me to stop making those videos. Those were my top viewed videos. Those were my top converting videos. That was a video that would always get me new subscribers. I definitely took a huge hit financially, view-wise, subscriber-wise, all of those things to stop those videos. But I did it because I wasn't, like, those videos definitely played into my FOMO and my desire to like have all of these new releases. And I couldn't do that anymore. So it sucked. It still sucks. I dabble in those videos every once in a while, and again, they get views, they get subscribers, they get conversions, all those things. And every time I do one of those videos, I'm like, you need to bring these back every single week. But I'm also like, you feel better. Like, it makes me feel just a little bit, I don't know if I want to use the word disconnected from the beauty community, but kind of. Being not as on top of those things has really helped, and I feel like has been a part of what's helped me stay successful at my low buy. So that's one thing. But again, going back to the Sephora sale and getting those comments of like, you call this a haul, like I got one comment of, you only spent $150. To me, that's not normal. To get feedback like that from the internet, and again, I feel like this is like that Spider-Man meme where we're pointing at each other, because it's like, who's in the wrong, right? Because you have, the thing is always like, influencers make you buy things. Influencers influence you to make these purchases. But at the same time, the influencers are being pointed at from social media of being like, what's this formula like? How would you compare it to this? Why are you not buying more in the Sephora haul? I want to see you try this eyeshadow palette. So it's, you got the Spider-Man meme of like, we're both looking at each other like, ah! That's how I feel sometimes as a content creator. So I think on one hand, it's like you're looking at content creators and being like, you're not normal. You have a huge makeup collection. You read 20 books a month. That's not normal. But on the other hand, we have the internet pointing at us saying, why are you not trying more makeup? Why weren't you reviewing this book? It's not normal on either side. At the end of the day, how do I think that we win? I think we win with having more compassion. I think we win by being nicer to one another. I think we win with trying to understand people instead of just immediately tearing them down. I don't think that it's normal for people who have never met me to put so much energy into hating me. I don't think that's normal. Especially going through my divorce, some of the things that I saw written about me on Reddit, that's not normal. I mean, I will say that every day. To put so much energy into hating someone that you don't know and that you have never met and you don't know their whole story, that's not normal. I truly sat down to do this video and was going to say 3 things about this whole normal, not normal situation, and now I feel like I'm all fired up like usual. Again, this is where my lack of boundaries comes into play. The main focus of these videos was going back to the topic of social media influencers aren't normal, and I 100% agree. But I also think consuming social media isn't normal either. The access that we have to people isn't normal. We didn't have this. My mom didn't have this when she was growing up. My grandma never had this on her time on earth. But it's the new way, right? Social media is not going to go away. We're only going to continue to get more access to people, to information, to opinions. So we kind of have to learn how to navigate it. That's why I go back to saying, how do we win? We win with stopping. Stop. Before you leave someone a negative, hurtful comment, maybe just stop and think. I think we're so fast on our keyboard these days. Hands up, same here. so fast. We're so fast to react. Even in real life, I'm fast. Oh, I'm fast. I'm fast. I'm an Aries. I'm fast to react. And there's definitely times, like I just went through a very personal situation that I was very fast to react at. And when I stopped and I reflected about it, I was not impressed with myself. And it was a reminder to me that I need to stop sometimes. When something is happening or something makes me upset or makes me mad, stop. That was a big, you know, eye-opening moment for me. But I've had that happen online before, and I think other people, like I can see it in the comments, because sometimes people leave me a really horrible comment and I respond to it in kind, and then they respond in kind. And they're, oh, sorry, like I was having a bad day and I just went off. But you never know, like, what your bad, I mean, this is all information we already know, right? We hear so many people say it of like, you never know what someone's going through. So because you had a bad day and then you put that bad day on me, you don't know if I was already having a bad day or week or month. And you don't know what that comment actually did to me. So when we talk about, is social media normal? Are influencers normal or relatable? They're probably not. But in a way, it's like, I think that we have to move on from like the negativity surrounding that and try to have more compassion. Again, there's bad eggs, there's bad influencers, there's bad content creators, there's people who are doing shitty things. That is what it is. That's everywhere, right? But maybe if we can have a little bit more kindness. Like for me, when I think about people saying like, I can't believe you only spent $230 in the Sephora sale to buy products that you absolutely do not need. I can't imagine saying that to my friends. Like if my friends are like, oh, I went to the mall and I spent $230 on new clothes that I didn't need because I have a closet full of clothes. I can't imagine saying to them, that's all? That's all you bought? Are you poor? Like I can't imagine saying that to somebody. If somebody goes to a restaurant and they order just like what they need, they order like an entree and an appetizer and a drink, I'm not like, that's it. You don't want to order 4 sides. You don't want to order 3 entrees. You don't want to order 8 drinks. Like that's it. That's all you're going to order. Like I can't imagine saying that to someone in my real life. So again, is it normal for me as a content creator to have a walk-in closet full of makeup products? No. But it's also not normal for me as just like a regular girl to get comments of, why did you only spend $230 in the Sephora sale? Why didn't you buy the new Pat McGrath palette? Why didn't you buy 4 foundations? Why didn't you buy 8 lipsticks? That's not normal either. Spider-Man. I don't know, y'all. That's what I gotta say today. I'm just gonna use the top shade of this Patrick Ta shimmer. I think that this one is really pretty. This, I need to have like a sound effect for when I switch gears in my videos, because I feel like I can go from talking about something, so, I don't know if I want to say deep, but you know, something that's not just makeup, and then I'm like, and so this eyeshadow is sparkly. It's so funny and not normal. But this is the shade that I was like kind of worried about with like hard pan. I wasn't sure if I was loving it because I layered it on top of the other shade. But when I use this just by itself, I think it's very wet looking and just very beautiful. And I actually am a fan. Like I'm a fan of just that shade. So I, of course, would love to get any feedback that you want to offer. And I'm a little bit nervous at the same time because again, I don't want to come across as like being that content creator that's complaining about her job or her life, but I'm also kind of tired of that narrative as well. I think it's become a very like normalized thing to be like, oh, you put yourself on the internet, you need to expect hate. You need to expect drama. And I just, again, it's like, why is that something that's become normalized? Like I'm someone who has received death threats. That's normal? That should be normal? Because I choose to share parts of my life online? I don't agree with that. I will never agree with that. I will never agree with someone making someone so uncomfortable they feel they can't leave their home. I will never agree with that. And I see it all the time. You know, I'm friends with so many creators in so many different spaces, and they get negative comments about, oh, you know, this is just normal. This is what it is. This is what we have to expect. And I get it. I get that it has been normalized by the internet. but it still makes me sad, and it's still not something that I want to be like, oh, this is just normal. We should just expect this. And I honestly think there's not enough talk about what that can do. It is something that I've always tried to have my platforms be very real. I try not to have them be a highlight reel. I try not to only show the highs in my life, but I also try to balance that with not only showing the lows and being, you know, depressed. And of course, when my dog was going through cancer, I felt like I was a pretty dark storm cloud on the internet, but I was still trying my best and I was also trying not to lose my job. So there's that. But I try to show the good and the bad, and I try to talk about the harder topics, and mental health has always been one of them. And I feel like I have somehow, and maybe this is just me thinking this, but like I really have tried to become an advocate for mental health when it comes to content creators, because I know how mine has like not always been great over the years. And I think it's because it's not normal for us to have to read the things that we read about ourselves now. Like when I was younger, like sure, would you hear like gossip about yourself and it would hurt and you would like lose friendships, or you would hear your friend Katie told your friend Holly this, like, and it would, you know, devastate you, of course. But now it's a whole new game. Now it's a whole new game of getting to read things about yourself that are horrible and make you question yourself and make you, you know, it shakes you sometimes. And that can be pretty hard on anybody, no matter how thick of skin that you have. And I go through times where I'm more bothered than others. There's sometimes I can read things about me and be like, whatever. And then there's other times when, you know, maybe things are a little bit harder for me in life, or I'm going through something and I just read even a small thing online, but it will absolutely crush me. And I feel like I'm saying the word normal so much, but like, it's still, to me, it's so crazy that we have so much access to everything, not just content creators and their lives and their drama and their makeup collection and their morning routines, but we have so much information to politics, to religion, to freaking weather. Like, I know what's going on in so many other countries. We never had that information growing up. Like, listen, my like finals paper when I was a travel major in college was on Dubai. Now I can tell you so many things about Dubai because I watched so many videos on them. I didn't have that information when I was in college, right? My 17-page paper. Like, we have so much access these days, and I think that we need to have a personal responsibility of how we use it and how we react to it. Maybe that's the point that I'm trying to get across. Like, we need to have that responsibility and that accountability of how we use this new age that we're in. How we use having all of this information that we now have privy at our fingertips. I'm trying to think of what, one of my friends said something to me the other day, and I was like, I don't know. Like, why would I know that? Like, asked me a question, like, why would I know that? And I was like, well, give me 1 second. I Googled it, and I was like, oh, there's your answer. We didn't have that. When I was growing up, if you had a question, good luck. I don't know. You could try to figure it out. You could try to phone a friend. Maybe if my sister wasn't on the phone, I could use AOL dial-up. I could ask someone in a chat room, but like, she'd still be on the phone. She was always on the phone. How am I supposed to know these answers? It's just kind of wild sometimes to think of like the access that we have. And again, I know like not every country has that as well. Of course, we always have to have like 1,000 caveats, but at the end of the day, which has been my new catchphrase recently, we do also have a responsibility of what we consume and how we react to it. That's what I want to say. All right, I'm going to use my Makeup by Mario mascara. Ooh, I'm actually gonna spray my face with the Fenty Spray. This is in my Shop My Stash as well. I don't always use a setting spray, but we're going to use that. And then I've been loving the Makeup by Mario mascara. Highly, highly recommend this one. I think I want to leave, I just did a little, the Kokie eyeliner, which I'm glad so many of you have been loving. I should have used the Rare Beauty because you can get that at Sephora, but I wanted to do black for this one. And I just smudged a little on the lower lash line, and then I'm not going to do any eyeshadow. I did another Get Ready With Me with my friend Ashley, and I used the Life's a Drop palette, and I didn't do any lower shadow, and I thought that it turned out really good. But isn't that eyeshadow so pretty and sparkly and like wet looking? I really do like it. Again, like I said in my review video, I still think it's expensive, so if you're shopping the sale and you've been interested in them, they are pretty. And I'm just gonna finish off with the lip combo. I got the Makeup by Mario Lip Duo as my birthday set because when I shopped first, it was still in March. So I'm gonna try this because like the Charlotte Tilbury and the Freck lip liners I've tried the Merit lip liner and lip oil that I got, tried that before. Speaking of not normal, like honestly, I don't know. I want to say, it's hard for me to say because I'm not, right? I was going to say if I'm not a content creator, but I am. I'm just thinking, for me, I purchased the Merit lip liner, even though I was like, I'm probably not going to like this. But my thought is like, maybe I will. It's something new. It's a product I can try. It's a product I can review. Again, going back to like, I hope that I don't dislike it, right? Like I don't buy something, no, like for sure. Like if I were to like go and like try something in store and be like, oh, I hate this, I wouldn't buy it then just to be able to come on camera and be like, I hate this. That's not the type of reviews that I'm a positive Polly, right? But if I was a consumer and I saw someone give a review like on the Merit lip liner and they were like, oh, it's sheer and it wipes away really fast, like I wouldn't go out and spend my money on it. That would be weird to me. But being a content creator and being like, oh, I can still try it. I can try it for the videos. That way I can tell people too, because I don't know if people realize how often we get asked comparisons. That was one of the first things back in the day when I first started beauty YouTube, of feeling very, like I was underperforming at my job, which it wasn't a job at the time because I did YouTube for a while before I got paid. But that was where I felt like I was lacking, because I especially got asked so many questions about MAC, like how does this compare to the MAC foundation, the MAC concealer, the MAC lipstick? And I was like, I don't know, I'm not a MAC girl. Like, and then all of a sudden I was going out and buying all this MAC because I was getting so many comments of like, how does this compare to MAC? And I'm like, I don't know. And so I get asked a lot of comparison questions. And I know a lot of content creators who keep a lot of the makeup products that they have because they can do comparisons and that sort of thing. And I was like that for a while as well. And then I was like, I'm like surrounded by makeup, which sounds like so fun to some people, but I'm like, this is like kind of strange, right? Not normal. But in a way, sometimes it feels like, being the beauty content creator side of things, it feels like we have to be able to compare like, oh, the Merit is similar to this, or if you like this, you would probably like the Merit, or if you like this, maybe you won't like the Merit. So that's the kind of like education that we bring to our videos. So there's like a certain pressure with that. And I think that's why I've been trying for a couple of years to move my content away from like so many reviews and so many product comparisons and that sort of thing. And recently I've been dabbling in trying to do more like commentary and just different products like that. Shop My Stash I've been doing every single month now since January, because it's really kind of trying to take pressure off of myself in that way. But that's just, I don't know, I'm just curious. If you see a review of something and you're like, I'm probably not gonna like that, do you still go out and buy it? I'm very genuinely curious. So for Makeup by Mario, this is the Ultra Suede Sculpting Lip Pencil in Rich Mauve. Oh, I do love a mauve shade. Okay, here is Rich Mauve. It's almost a little, I was gonna say pink, but like, I don't know if that's exactly screaming mauve to me. And this is the Glowy Lip, the Plumping Lip Serum in Rosewood Glow. Okay, let's give this a shot. Oh, this is very, wow. I don't know if it's because it's so hot. I finally turned on my air today, but this is very serumy. Oh, is this plumping? Plumping lip serum. I can instantly feel the cooling sensation. Ooh, ooh. Again, this is not new. Ooh, ooh. I don't do well with plumping glosses. I can feel it in my throat. I mean, it's very pretty though. Like very pretty combo, but I can feel it on my tongue. Like my tongue is getting numb. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna be my favorite. I know some people like really don't mind plumping glosses and such, but they're not my favorite. Ooh. And then for my fragrance, honestly, I have some Fleur Mood Ring that I was gonna use, but I'm gonna go with Vanilla Smoke. Vanilla Smoke has just been like my jam. Ooh, so good. Wait, so that was gonna do it for this Get Ready With Me and a longer conversation about what's normal when it comes to social media. Super curious to get your thoughts, of course. And for the new products I tried, the Kulfi Concealer, I'm a little, we'll have to see. I liked the Sephora Bronzer, don't know if it'll be a favorite. The lip combo is cute. Again, don't know if it's gonna be my absolute favorite. I like the Patrick Ta eyeshadow, the Makeup by Mario, the Tower 28, the Milk is good. Is that all the new products we tried? I feel like I like the Vanilla Smoke. Huda powders, Fenty Spray. Am I missing something? But I feel like this look is very pretty. I hope you enjoyed this get ready with me. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.